Hi there, I'm Drew Badger, the world's #1 English fluency guide, and in this video I want to talk about using your time wisely so you can become a fluent speaker much faster. And it's really being careful about studying more expensive words when you should really be focusing on the cheap ones. Now I have a picture up here. I'll give you a second to guess what that is. Maybe it's a radish or a beet. It's supposed to be a tomato. I'm not the best artist, but hopefully, it kind of looks like a tomato. But I have this up here because I wanted to tell a very quick story that's related to this idea that I'm going to share with you in the video. And this is my mother-in-law. So my wife is Japanese and her mother loves going out and shopping. She's a fantastic cook. She always makes great dishes. For whatever meal we're making, she has a great palate, so she can try different things and she can really just make some wonderful food. But I'm always surprised when she will travel really, really far just to save a few yen or a few cents in American dollars on some tomatoes or something like that. So she has particular stores that she goes to buy, whatever things. So some stores are great for getting groceries. Other stores are great for getting maybe some frozen foods or something like that. But I'm always surprised when she could buy, a can of corn, and it's the same exact can by the same company, same size, but she will travel much farther away to purchase that and save just a little bit of money on that. Now, this is surprising to me because she and I, we just kind of think differently. She's a much better cook than I am, but I really try to impress upon her this idea of remembering how valuable your time is and thinking about the total price of something like a tomato. So if I walk downstairs, maybe I live in an apartment building and I can walk downstairs to a grocery store and there's a can of beans or something there, and I can buy that for $1. I might be able to take a train somewhere and buy that same can of beans for 50 cents. But when you think about the time that I'm wasting on that, the actual time, you can think about like what your salary or your hourly rate is for something like that. So if I travel somewhere, I'm saving money, maybe like that 50 cents or something, but I'm actually wasting a lot of time, and you can calculate my hourly rate based on, how much that can of beans is worth. Maybe I buy some other things too, but you get the idea. So the point of this story is really to remind you that the exact same thing applies when you're thinking about the kind of jobs you do, the kind of maybe work you do, and even within your work, the different things that you do within your day, some of these things are going to be much more valuable than others. And so one of the kind of cornerstone parts of my teaching, a very simple idea, is called 80-20. So this is known as the principle of 80-20 or the Pareto principle. And it just means that when we're looking at things, pretty much any group of things is going to be unequal. So we're going to have some things that are really fantastic and other things that are not so good. And the curve here, this is a power curve. It looks like this. So if we have, let's see, 10 things here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 things right here. Did I count that properly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I did. Fantastic. I'm a great English teacher, but not so great at counting. Anyway, so looking at something like this, we can talk about the kind of different jobs that I do maybe in my daily life as a person who's just running a company. So one of those things, like I could be answering, like personally myself, answering customer service emails or something like that. Now, if I do that, my time is maybe like, let's say like $10 an hour. So I can earn $10 an hour. I'm actually spending or kind of paying myself $10 an hour by using my time to answer customer service emails when, again, these aren't like things that like other people could do, but just as an example, I'm doing that and I'm really saving myself like, I don't know, $10 by just doing it myself. But what am I losing by not spending my time on something up here like creating a new course? So something only I could do that's really valuable. So it's the same amount of time, like maybe I could spend, 10 hours answering mails, or I could spend 10 hours creating a course or a video or something like that. But if I create a video, then that time is worth maybe like $1,000 an hour. So you see the difference. Now, again, it's the same idea about like a tomato from one place or a tomato from another place, but your time is incredibly valuable. And if you spend your time on things down here instead of spending your time on the things up here that are really powerful, that are really important, then you're essentially wasting your time. So what I wanted to talk about here, kind of using this idea with vocabulary. So what I do in all of my courses, it's anything from Visual Guide to Phrasal Verbs, a Fluency course, the Art of Conversation, all of those things apply the same idea to vocabulary, because a lot of these words up here, they're going to be used a lot more frequently than the words you learn down here. And that brings us to the kind of vocabulary for this video. And that is, I'll just give a quick example of it here, a $5 word. Now, a $5 word is just a word that really, it's kind of meant to sound more impressive, even though it doesn't really communicate much more information. So I'll give kind of an example here. I would classify the establishment's victuals as substandard. I would classify the establishment's victuals as substandard. So if someone asks me, hey, how was the restaurant? And I reply with this, I'm really throwing out or giving them a lot of $5 words like this. So I would classify the establishment's victuals as substandard. These are all examples of $5 words, or just words that are meant to impress people rather than communicate information in a simple way that most people would do. So these kinds of words like this are further down on how commonly these words are used. So in this area down here, and the more expensive, like a word like victuals, like you're never going to hear that ever. So learning a word like this is going to be really expensive. So it's expensive for your time, and that means you're essentially taking time over here to learn a word like that when you could be spending that same amount of time in learning something that's much more powerful and that you're going to use a lot more frequently in a conversation. So these things, you'll hear them in conversations as like a $5 word or a $10 word. And it's, again, just that idea of being an expensive sounding word, like you have an expensive education. So you learn these words in some very thick books, and now you're trying to use them in casual conversations where they make you sound really, you're trying to make yourself sound more important, or you can use the word pretentious. So you're trying to make yourself sound more important than you really are just by using words that are not really necessary. So often in conversations, native speakers will use these kind of as a joke, but some people use them seriously. But a lot of non-native speakers are also learning this information to pass tests when none of this is used in a regular conversation. So what that means is you're essentially spending time, very expensive time, learning these words that you don't really use, instead of using this time over here to learn something that you're actually going to use in conversation. Does that make sense? So this is a very common word, actually, or this is a common phrase. A $5 word, you'll hear, wow, that's a $2 word, or you used a lot of $10 words in that conversation or in that sentence. So you'll hear different variations of this. Something related to this, you'll also hear the $1 million question. So the $1 million question is, and again, it's that same idea of something being really important. So again, $5, but you've got $1 million up here. So what's the really important question, or what's the really important thing? Like if I'm working at a company and the president says, well, we need a new plan for establishing some kind of project because sales are going down. What are we going to do? And then someone replies, well, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? So again, it's like if we can find an answer to that, that's going to be very helpful, obviously. So people are just kind of making a joke that that's the $1 million question. That's the important question. What's going to happen with that? So hopefully you found this idea important. Remember that not all words are created equal. Some words are used a lot more frequently than others. And so when you're spending your time learning this, you can take this idea of just a word that sounds more educated, or something that maybe like you learned it in school, like a higher level education, like a master's degree. So a master's student might learn a word like this. But how much are you paying to learn that word? So in all of my programs, I take like Even something like the fluency course will have a lesson set, and in that lesson set will feature a conversation, a real conversation between native English speakers. And from that, there could be thousands of words that appear in the conversation. But we focus on teaching the most important ones. So we'll have maybe a glossary that has maybe 300 or 400 words that you should remember, but then videos that really focus specifically on teaching these most interesting, most commonly used things. And again, it's just applying this idea of 80-20 because you want to focus on things that are used more often than these expensive $10 words, $100 words, or $500 words up here. Now, I can't really give more examples than this, but I hope you understand the idea and why it's so important. So focus on the things that are used most frequently in conversations if your goal is to become a confident speaker as fast as possible. Spend your time with the things that are used often and you will become fluent faster. Does that make sense? Well, if you'd like to learn more about our programs, you can visit EnglishAnyone.com or click on the link in the upper right of this video so you can learn more about the fluency course. And I talk about this idea specifically and how we teach you the most commonly used conversational speech and help you learn it very quickly. But not only teaching you the vocabulary, actually showing you how to develop the habits that help you communicate so you can use everything you learn automatically and fluently. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and my picture of a tomato up here. Do comment in the comment section down below. Let me know if you have any questions about this idea, or if you have any more, maybe you can think of some $5 words on your own that you've learned that maybe you just don't use in conversations ever. But again, they can be impressive, so sometimes they're fun to learn. But remember, focus on the things you're going to be using most often in conversations, and that's going to help you get fluent faster. Have a fantastic day, keep practicing, and one final thing. People have been commenting in videos saying that I need to pause more when I'm talking. Let me know if you agree with that or not. Now, I like the way I speak, and actually it feels almost too slow for me, but let me know. If we get a lot of people, somebody posts a comment that says I should pause more, maybe I will. Maybe I won't. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the comment section down below. Bye-bye. Click on the link in the upper right of this video, or on the link in the description below this video, to take our quick fluency quiz. It takes less than a minute, and we'll use your answers to give you the best advice possible in a free, personalized guide you can use to speak better English today. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, share it with others you know who also want to improve, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more. Click the bell icon for notifications after you subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.